Before you begin your drawing, you want to be comfortable knowing what each pencil does. So on a scrap piece of paper, pressing consistently the same, shade in an area maybe about the size of a dime. Start with your 6H pencil and look at how dark you're able to make that area using your 6H. Right next to it, try your 3H or 2H, whichever one you have. Same pressure. Don't press any harder, don't press any less. Crisscross back and forth. Get a nice, consistent, even value on it. Notice it is a little bit darker than the 6H. This would be your 2H or 3H. Next to that, try your HB pencil. Sometimes they seem a little light. It may look similar to one of your other pencils, but just kind of get the feel of it. Same pressure, same area. HB. Now try your 2B. Same pressure. Notice we're starting to get a much darker area. Now try your 6B. This would be your softest and darkest. And there you have it. Each pencil showing the value range that you're able to get with it. You might want to cut this out, and you can use it with your drawing. Okay, now we're going to start the drawing. Now, you do have these half areas on the sides that are only 1 3/4, but that is still usable space. So look at your photograph and count how many columns there are, and make sure you have enough columns on your paper to do the drawing. Make sure you have enough rows to do. So based on the top of my image, I'm going to come down to this point, which is about where the bottom of my nose is. And I'm going to focus only on the square to the right for right now. Using my HB pencil, I'm just going to start sketching in about where each shape is. I'm not really thinking about it in terms of a nose. I'm just looking at the shapes that were created when I posterized the image, and I'm just drawing in those shapes. Sketch lightly. You can start to shade in some of the areas just if it helps keep things in proportion. But look at the square in your photograph. Think about where a shape starts with regards to the side or the bottom of the square, and mark those in. Give you some reference points. Once you kind of have the square somewhat blocked in, you're going to go ahead and start shading it. And for sake of time, I'm going to speed the video up. Now looking at that little value scale we made, figure out which pencil you want to use for which area of gray. Okay, I'm going to speed the video up to twice the normal speed. So the lightest areas, I want to use my 6H or 3H pencil. And when you start to shade in larger areas, you want to hold your pencil back a little bit farther back on the handle. Make sure you crisscross back and forth over the area so you don't get a texture, an unwanted texture created by shading something in. So notice how I'm going back and forth, crisscrossing over the same area until I get it to about the value that I want. You start with the lights, gradually work towards the darks. or you can start with the darks, gradually work towards the lights. It doesn't really matter, whichever you prefer. But when you do start an area, think about what the value is. Is it low? And how low is it? And choose the appropriate pencil for that area. Don't think about drawing a nose or drawing an eye. It's just about copying the shape that you see. Copying the value that you see. How light or how dark. Sometimes it helps to outline the shapes, but if you're going to do this, draw very lightly. You don't want those outlines to be visible within the final drawing. Keep the image the reference image that you're drawing from, keep it right in front of you, right next to your drawing. Look at it often. You start to notice things that don't look quite right, then fix it. Now, once you get one square kind of sketched in, it helps when you start drawing the next square because you can already see where some of the things line up. If you see the shape ending in a corner in your photograph, make sure it ends in the corner in your drawing. Use the corners and the sides of each square as a reference to keep your image in proportion. Check your value scale. Make sure you know which pencil you want to use for which area. Don't let your brain tell you how something is supposed to look. If the eye only looks like a dark black shape in your photograph, then you have to draw it as a dark black shape. In and of itself, it may not be recognizable as an eye, but in the context of the entire image, your brain will make sense of it. Sometimes your lighting can affect the value. Move the lighting around a little bit here and there. Make sure you're not seeing any glares on your drawing. Erase the guidelines of the grid as you do the drawing. Don't wait till you get to the very end. So I'm only going to do 2 squares for right now. Just wanted you to get a sense of how to do the drawing.